Hi everyone, today we're presenting a project titled Optimizing Inventory Efficiency and Revenue, Analyzing Weekly Sales from 2010 to 2012 in Walmart. My name is Melanie, and our group, Paige, Mia, and Thomas, looked at how changes in weekly sales affected inventory efficiency. We focused on how Walmart managed keeping the right amount of stock while still maintaining steady revenue. In this presentation, we'll share the key trends we found and what they suggest about improving inventory management. Walmart is the world's largest retailer operating on a high volume, low margin model, meaning it relies on selling large quantities of products to generate profit. Because of this, efficiency is critical. Inventory turnover is important to ensure products don't sit too long and increase costs. Demand forecasting helps Walmart stock the right products at the right time, avoiding shortages or excess inventory. Lastly, supply chain efficiency ensures products move quickly from suppliers to stores. Together, these factors are key to maintaining profitability. The main issue is that weekly sale fluctuations from 2010 to 2012 create the risk of inventory mismatch, leading to either overstocking or understocking in Walmart. This matters because inventory efficiency directly affects profit margins, cash flow, and supply chain performance in Walmart's high volume model. Our summary shows strong seasonal volatility, stable off-season sales, and no prolonged declines, meaning overall revenue is consistent, but demand patterns still vary in predictable ways. Now, from 2010 to 2012, Walmart experienced significant weekly sale fluctuations driven by seasonality and consumer demand cycles. In a high volume retail model, inventory mismatches matter. Overstocking increased costs, while understocking leads to lost sales and lower customer satisfaction. We measure this using sales volatility, which rises during holidays, and the coefficient of variation to separate stable from unstable demand. Stable sales indicate efficient inventory flow, while sharp changes suggest inefficiencies. This is important because strong inventory management helps Walmart maintain margins and respond to demand changes and sustain consistent financial performance.
Continuing on with our role. My name is Mia Yura, and we are acting as external consultants evaluating Walmart's inventory efficiency. Our goal is to take a data-driven approach to understand how well Walmart is managing its inventory in relation to its sales patterns. Overall, we're trying to assess whether fluctuations in sales are being handled in a way that supports stable operations and consistent revenue. Now, the main question is how sales fluctuations from 2010 to 2012 influence inventory efficiency. More specifically, we're looking at what these changes in sales suggest about Walmart's ability to avoid overstocking or understocking while still maintaining consistent revenue. To answer this question, we used a Walmart weekly sales dataset from Kaggle as our primary data source. This dataset includes store-level sales information along with several external variables such as temperature, fuel prices, CPI, and unemployment. The dataset covers the period from 2010 to 2012, which gives us a consistent time frame to analyze these trends. In addition to this, we also reference Walmart's official financial reports to validate trends and provide real-world context. But before moving into the analysis, we performed data cleaning in order to ensure that the dataset was reliable. We use Power Query on Excel to standardize data types, especially for dates and numerical values, so that the formatting was consistent throughout the entire dataset. We also removed duplicate records and reviewed the dataset for any missing or inconsistent values. Overall, the data was relatively clean to begin with, but going through this process allowed us to confirm its accuracy and ensure that the data was ready for the next steps. You can also see above me the picture from Power Query that shows all the data cleaning steps that we utilized.
Okay, so continuing on with the obtaining the data section, here we're looking at how we organize the data. Basically, from 2010 to 2012, Walmart experienced significant weekly sales fluctuations driven by seasonality and consumer demand cycles. Pretty typical in retail, especially large retailers like Walmart. But in a high volume retail model, inventory mismatches do matter. So overstocking increases costs for the company, while understocking leads to lost sales and lower customer satisfaction. We can measure this using sales volatility and coefficient of variation. Sales volatility rises during holidays, and then we see the coefficient of variation. We use that to separate stable from unstable demand, basically. Stable sales indicate efficient inventory flow, while sharp changes suggest inefficiencies. Simple as that. This is important because strong inventory management helps Walmart maintain margins, respond to demand changes, and sustain consistent financial performance. All about the response. So as you can see on the graphic, we grouped the data by year and month, identified seasonal sales patterns, and this is just a simple way to put it and just be able to see these patterns easily. So here we explain how the data set was validated and a few of its key limitations. So for starters, we ensured the data was reliable. We checked for consistency across variables. We confirmed that weekly sales were accurately aggregated and verified that there were no missing or duplicate records within the data. But there are a couple of limitations to note and to consider. For starters, the dataset only spans 2010 to 2012, which obviously limits long-term insights. Another big one is that it doesn't include inventory data. So sales are used as a proxy in this scenario, but internal factors like promotions or local events are not captured, and weekly data might hide more detailed daily trends. Additionally, while some variables may show correlation with sales, this does not necessarily mean that they cause changes in sales. So this next slide highlights our use of descriptive analytics, and descriptive analytics is definitely a main staple of this process and this project as a whole. It just involves summarizing and visualizing data to understand patterns and trends, quite simply put. We analyzed Walmart's weekly sales from 2010 to 2012 by calculating key metrics such as average sales, peak periods, minimum sales levels, things like that. This basically allowed us to see how sales behaved over time and gave us a clear overview of it. Our findings showed strong seasonal patterns, like we talked about before, with noticeable spikes during certain times of the year, perhaps holidays, and consistent baseline in non-peak periods. Overall, the data reveals predictable demand cycles that can help inform business decisions like inventory and staffing. This slide is all about how we analyzed the data and how we measured variability in Walmart sales using standard deviation and the coefficient of variation, just to understand how much sales fluctuated over time. We found that holiday periods show slightly higher variability compared to non-holiday periods, while overall variability remains fairly consistent across the 3 years, 2010 to 2012. A monthly example just gives us some typical patterns, such as a strong sales in December followed by a drop in January, just for an example. Overall, though, variability is higher during peak seasons and lower during off-season periods. This suggests that while sales do fluctuate, the changes are predictable, and they do indicate a stable, well-managed sales pattern.
The diagnostic analysis of our question goes beyond summarization. Instead, it's examining whether fluctuations in sales led to inefficiencies in inventory or were the result of predictable external demand patterns. By analyzing the timing of sales spikes and slowdowns, there proved to be 3 factors that led to our conclusion. The data from the set shows that holiday weeks generate significantly higher sales and show greater variability than non-holiday weeks. The yearly average shows a clear distinction between holidays and the rest of the year. Holiday weeks across the year make more than non-holiday weeks, showing that there is a pattern being followed by consumers. Additionally, we noticed that irregular spikes followed by slower activity across the year. This suggests that there was promotional activity that shifted demand forward. These key factors show us that fluctuations faced are not due to any inefficiencies, but more so due to seasonal patterns across the year. Overall, we see a consistent pattern: predictable spikes during certain periods and a relatively stable baseline in between. The key takeaway is that sales volatility is largely seasonal and predictable, especially around peak demand periods. This suggests that Walmart is generally able to anticipate changes in demand and adjust accordingly. As a result, revenue remains stable over the year, which indicates strong inventory and operational efficiency. Looking ahead, there are several key opportunities to improve Walmart's performance even further. First, enhancing predictive forecasting would allow for more accurate demand planning and better alignment of inventory with expected sales patterns. Second, optimizing post-peak inventory reduction would help reduce excess stock after high demand periods, lowering holding costs. Third, integrating real-time demand signals would allow Walmart to respond faster to sudden changes in customer behavior. From a data perspective, adding more detailed information such as inventory level data, store level breakdowns, and promotion impact analysis would significantly improve the accuracy of future insights and lead to stronger, more precise decision-making.